Tana, you're a pimp.
Okay, so I do not feel like enough people are talking about this, especially over on YouTube. I mean, TikTok, a little bit of hubbub about it, but not too much. Tana Mongeau and her, as a lot of people are talking about it, Tana's Angels, which you do have some people who are absolutely furious with this and basically calling her like a modern day pimp.
How is this legal? There are no laws to protect us. Okay, so when Tana is like texting Alyssa Violet being like, get in your bag, it's because she will get in her bag.
Even when you look a little bit further into the Unruly Agency, which is what Tana is under, which coincidentally is what Tana's Angels are also under as well. When you look at the amount of lawsuits from many different models who have come out and said the most abhorrent things about where their content has been and that they were made to work and, you know, they didn't sign up for any of this and they can't get out of their contract. There are some amazing creators out there who are in the adult industry. They've come out and they have expressed their distaste for what not only Tana Mongeau is doing, but also what a lot of other creators is doing as well. You know, it's bad when both Tana Mongeau and Austin McBroom do really similar things. This came to light to me anyway when Alyssa Violet did that video, the recent video, because her, Tana and Brooke had a big falling out. So Alyssa came out and she said, well, Tana was saying that I was asking about OnlyFans and I was intrigued and I wanted to do some. And Alyssa then turned around and she went, actually, no, showed all the screenshots of Tana over the years basically bugging Alyssa and saying, no, girl, get your bag. You know, you can just create an account, sign under me. You don't have to post anything, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, and it was a series of text messages of Tana basically badgering her to sign up to Tana's Angels.
Then on her podcast, Tana and her co-host Brooke made some pretty serious accusations about me, one of which saying I was inquiring to Tana about making an OnlyFans account, therefore implying that I'm some sort of hypocrite. I'm going to show my conversations with her throughout the years regarding this, and I've always politely declined. Pause to read.
The very first time I'd ever heard of this Tana Angels stuff, and then I went online to see if I could find anyone else talking about it. And there was only a select few, and I do believe that Tana Mongeau does have an OnlyFans account, but from what I've gathered, she doesn't actually post on it. This was from Tana Mongeau, April 25th, 2021. She says, yes, the rumours are true. After receiving tens of thousands of messages daily from people asking me how I make money on OnlyFans as an online creator, how to get started, and for some bad B mentorship. A year of turning Tana Uncensored into a multi-million-dollar business, my team and I knew it was the time to partner with Unruly Agency and Tara. Now, Unruly Agency we're going to get onto in just a minute, because I think in the past year alone they've had 9 separate lawsuits filed against them. Start my very own agency, TAA, Tana's Angels Agency. In this industry, I have been effed over by so many people in every imaginable way. When I signed Unruly in April of 2019, I was so grateful and excited to work and be mentored by some of the smartest, best women I know who truly changed my life for the better and taught me so much about how to create an empire based in authenticity, honesty, and working hard. Brought on those people to TAA to finally be able to share their expertise, marketing knowledge, and much more with authentic creators I believe in, big, small, or starting today. Alongside that, I want to use my experience, platform connections, knowledge, and creativity to help small creators win in the right way. Notice how they're saying small creators. I don't believe Tana ever actually wrote this. I can't imagine her writing this. I believe that someone on her team wrote this, or it was actually Unruly Agency themselves. I'm gonna lay this one out there. I have got absolutely nothing, like, and when I say nothing, I've really got nothing against people starting up OnlyFans. It's not for me, but I'm very sex positive. I don't mind. I don't care. If you're not hurting anyone else, you're not hurting yourself, go for it. None of my business. You can do whatever you want. So this is not me going like, oh, da 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 da. This is me looking at it, and a lot of other people looking at it from a sense that I saw this other screenshot of someone talking about it on TikTok where she is over the moon excited that she's got like 10,000 people trying to sign up to her Unruly Agency. Then talking about mentorship and giving all of this advice. That's not going to be possible. If you have that many people, that's not even going to be possible. If you have 100 people, that's just never going to be possible. And, you know, saying helping young girls, not really necessarily specifying what exactly it is. It's not even a pyramid scheme because the person doesn't then have to recruit other people. But it's like Tana is, the Unruly Agency is up here. Tana's here, and then she's then trying to get loads of other people underneath her sign up to Tana, and then Tana's going to take a great big check and basically hold people in contracts. These are contracts, and these are contracts that are going to be, that could be extremely lengthy, contracts that people do not know how to get out of. And the thing is that she's saying, you know, trying to get smaller creators, and a lot of young people will look up to her and they'll go, oh, maybe I could try that, not necessarily thinking about the consequences and the ramifications of what that actually could entail later down the line. So younger people who have just turned 18 might go, I can make lots of money too, sign me up, not realise that a lot of their money is, they're not going to see a lot of their money because it's going to be coined away by Tana. And then the Unruly Agency, who are already in so many different lawsuits for taking a lot of the money and forcing girls to work and not letting people out of their contracts. Leave screenshot right up here. I'm actually going to play a lot of her video right now because she works in the industry and she is absolutely furious about what is happening because she recognizes the fact that it's extremely predatory to be doing this to an audience who is extremely young and won't necessarily realize.
Pretty much every single girl on here who make more than like 5K a month have management companies. Do you want to know why? Management companies don't go to girls with not a lot of followers, not a lot of money, and great potential. No, they go to the girls who are already making bank. Why? Because it's working and they want a piece of the pie. These are pimps. They are not management companies, okay? It's like a form of like dry trafficking almost, because it's like, hey, we're gonna own all of your content and we're gonna post it wherever the we want. And that's it. And then they get some guy from like Brickell, Miami to do the chatting, or some guy from fucking Venezuela to do the chatting, and they pay him like $3 an hour. I had a friend who was doing it, looked into it a little bit because I didn't want to do the chatting. Okay, it's kind of traumatizing sometimes. There are some freaks who are like sick in the head. That'd be cool to not do the chatting anymore, right? So hire this management company, and they're like, hey, so all the money's gonna go to us first, and then we're gonna pay you. I said, I said, what? That's my money. I'll pay you because you're a service. You don't pay me. I'm not your employee. And then that's another thing. They create like this like contract that's totally not binding, and it has all this like legal jargon. And so all these women who are like 19 and are making all this money, like all these predators, right? I had a friend who got locked into this contract. She's like, I'm gonna have to make this content for a year. That's the thing. Some of these guys, like these contracts say like, I will own you and your content for a duration of an entire year, right? What? That's not how that works. So when my friend showed me this contract, I fucking laughed at her. I was like, they contradicted themselves 5 times in the contract, automatically not viable. These are just like little boys. He's like, this was created so that women had a little more autonomy in an industry that we've basically like never had full autonomy in. And then what? Who's getting into it? The men. Oh, and then Tana Mongeau is in this, dude. She's DMing us on Instagram. Who else? Austin McBroom DM'd me. Little Pump DM'd me. Like, this is predatory. And and Tana's like, oh, it's called Tana's Angels. Tana, you're a pimp. Let women have their own money. Jesus. Like all these influencers are in it and nobody knows. And they are making money off these women. And then you go to, oh, but you say, wait, but Tana, she has her own OF. Wait, but she has her own. So like she gets it. Yeah, I'm subscribed to her. If you saw the text with Alyssa Violet, literally Tana goes, oh yeah, I just like don't post anything and then like say I do, and then like people get it. People get it because you're in your bag. Because you're in your bag. This is work. This is not a grift. This sticks with you forever. It sticks on your name forever. It's stuck with you forever. Your family will see it. Your friends will see it. You are changed for the rest of your life after you get into this industry. And then people just think it's like this cute, oh yeah, I wanted to get into that. This is a life-changing industry. Yes, it can be positive, but it can also be negative. I had a friend that was interested in getting into it. Someone kidnapped her. She was kept in a house full of women for a month, dry trafficked, that's called. Forced to create content against your will. What's different about these management companies? Because you're locked in a contract for an entire year, and they say if you don't make content for them, if you ever want to get out of the industry, they will sue you. How is this legal? There are no laws to protect us. Okay, so when Tana is like texting Alyssa Violet being like, get in your bag, it's because she will get in her bag. When you have an account and you give someone your referral code, you now make, what is it? 5%. 5%. Shout out to the H3 fans. So every time Tana texts one of her friends who are not in S work and tell them, get in your bag. She wants to get in her bag, bro. She wants 5% of whatever the girl's gonna make. And I'm gonna text all my girls and I'm gonna see all of the famous people in their DMs who are being predatory against all these young women. Young women. These are women that are under the age of 25. Ages 18 to 25, dude.
So this one is the Unruly agency for OnlyFans, and this is the one talking about the actual agency in itself, not necessarily the creators, that they had wrongful termination, retaliation, failure to provide or meet various California labor codes, failed to provide rest periods, provide meal periods, pay earned wages, pay overtime wages, false imprisonment. Allegedly, they were kept in a room for no less than an hour, causing them unreasonable duress. They had emotional distress. They got detained in a conference room and had various threats made to them. Violations of the Fair Employment and Housing Act, unjust enrichment, breach of contract, unfair business practice. All the lawsuits allege Unruly engaged in unlawful, unfair, and fraudulent business practices.
Get in your bag! It's because she will get in her bag.
A couple of years ago, no woman should be pressured. OnlyFans creators are suing an agency alleging exploitations. One of the most well-known companies, Unruly Agency, is now facing new lawsuits from two influencers who allege that Unruly pressured them into posting sexually exploitative content and threatened them when they tried to leave the agency. In two separate filings, model and lifestyle influencers Sarah Stage and Jessica Cascada are accusing Unruly of trapping them into exploitative contracts and posting nude and sexual photos without their consent, despite both women telling the agency when they first signed with them that they had no interest in posting such content. In her lawsuit, Stage, who has about 2 million Instagram followers, alleges that she signed with Unruly in August 2020 and that the agency promised it would assign her an account manager to post photos of captions and message with fans according to her preferences. To that end, Stage says she filled out a client questionnaire stating what she was and wasn't comfortable with, in which she said that she was uncomfortable posing nude or posting sexually explicit content while speaking with fans, saying she'd like to stick to sexy fitness and tasteful lingerie bikini shots, that she had worked hard creating a brand as a fitness influencer. Almost immediately after executing the agreement and filling out the survey, defendants began pressuring plaintiff to pose for sexually explicit photographs in blatant disregard of plaintiff's survey response and its previous conversations with plaintiff regarding the type of content she wanted to post. The photographer pressured her to disrobe and displayed clear favoritism towards the women who were willing to post nude and produce more sexual content. She goes on to say that a few months later she discovered that her account manager was posting sexually explicit captions and offering to rate a subscriber's penis in exchange for money. The lawsuit further alleges that when Stage tried to get out of her contract, Unruly threatened to sue her, continuing to operate her account without permission until she changed her passwords. According to Insider, Unruly filed a counterclaim alleging breach of contract. Claim they offered to let her out of the contract for a fee, but instead she broadcasted false claims to other models in an effort to persuade them to leave their contracts too and cause Unruly to surrender their claim against Stage. Unruly argued that it was Stage who pushed for more sexual content. In her lawsuit, Quesada, I'm so sorry, I'm butchering this name, alleges that she too was asked to fill out a branding questionnaire when she first signed with Unruly. In her questionnaire, the suit alleges she specified that she did not feel comfortable posting nude photos or anything where you can see her privates under the clothing, and that anything with her in sheer clothing needs to be edited. Yet she says Unruly's account manager at one point posted a photo where her nipples were visible without her consent and sent subscribers explicit messages without her consent. At one point, she alleges Unruly asked her to travel 3 hours to meet a VIP subscriber, which she refused to do. She also alleges that Unruly threatened to sue her when she asked to terminate her contract, continuing to operate her account without her permission. As a result, she became severely emotionally distressed because of defendants' threats and bullying. Unruly again said that it was their policy to pass along requests from fans, but the company does not pressure nor commit any act that contradicts the model's wishes. In 2021, the Daily Beast reported that a former client, identified only as Jane Doe, was suing the agency, alleging that it had posted a NSFW video of her to her public page. That's basically like not suitable for most audiences, so it's going to be a really explicit one, to public page without her permission, and that they had threatened her with legal action when she tried to leave the company. These guys are basically pimps, she said.
Angels, Tana, you're a pimp.
Their wishes were not respected. They said that they didn't want to do X, Y, and Z. And then what ended up happening is that the company then completely ignored them, managed to like push them out, force them to doing stuff. And the thing is, you may wonder, like, well, if they say they don't want to do it, then just get up and leave. But if you get up and leave, you could be sued, you could be, you know, wrongfully like, you could be sued for a lot of money for breaking your contract, you could be charged loads of money, you could be taken to court. I look like an absolute hot mess. But imagine as well, like, even if those contracts were like fraudulent, like, do you know what I mean, like even if they were like bogus contracts, it's still the thought of you potentially going to court. It's like the fear, do you know what I mean, like would you want to risk it? I can't imagine that all of these people are making a lot of money if the management company is taking a really big cut, so they can't afford to leave, being forced to, you know, produce content that they don't want to do, have people accessing their accounts and talking to viewers completely unknowing to them. Their wishes are not respected. And then you then have a situation where they can't afford to leave. It's not a case of, oh, pack your bags and you're off. It doesn't work like that. And you hear about this kind of stuff happening in literal pimp houses. Like this is where you hear that from. You hear about this happening in all sorts of places. You have a bunch of people all living in a great big house, finding these girls from other countries, or even finding girls from like around the area, promising them lots of money, promising this and that, if they'll then sign up underneath them, and then them basically not being paid enough for them to be able to leave, but then also they're then having to pay for their food and then pay for their accommodation. But they're only paid enough for that. They're not paid enough for them to leave. So then you then end up in situations where the women can't leave. It sounds eerily similar to this. However, this is online, but they can't leave. Do you see what the problem is? Hence the reason why people are calling it like Tana's a pimp, is because she is getting all of these girls underneath her with her Angel Tana mumbo jumbo, getting it underneath her and promising lots of money, taking a massive cut over whatever the hell they're doing, sending them on their way to the Unruly agency where people then have access to their accounts. They then can't leave because they're tied into a contract that seemingly is never ending, and they're forced to make content and they can't leave because it costs a lot of money to leave. And I think that anyone saying that, well, you know, these girls were signed up to that, they knew what they were getting into when they went and they decided to become an OnlyFans model. Because OnlyFans model doesn't necessarily equate to like full frontal nudity, full frontal like sexual nudity. That's not everything. That's what OnlyFans can be, but that isn't necessarily what everyone wants. So when you get people that then sign up and are then forced to post things beyond what they'd feel comfortable with, then that's a massive, massive problem. And I don't get it when you do have people that are like, well, just treat them all the same because they obviously don't care. Or I'm reading comments elsewhere and they're saying, well, they put themselves in this situation. It's not as black and white as that. I mean, yeah, if they hadn't have signed up, then like, yeah, I mean, we put it like that, yeah. But no one expects the worst to happen in this regard. Kind of stuff like freaks the hell out of me, because can you imagine not being able to get out of this contract and being forced to do things you don't want to, like, it's just disgusting. That is pretty much all I wanted to say in today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves. I will catch up with you guys in the next video.